Benfica Podcast is one of the founding members of Benfica Independent. Benfica Independent is an independent platform made by fans for fans. And in it, you can find our podcast, along with many other podcasts, along with articles of opinion, video segments, and much, much more. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/Benfica Independent, with exclusive contents for our patrons.
Hasta que no estás aquí dentro no sabes la grandeza de este equipo. Sí, es un club que tiene una grandeza que no se comprende si no estás aquí dentro.
São de uma magia única, benfiquista, que só nós sentimos assim. Por muitos desgostos que possamos ter, valores mais altos se levantam. E o valor mais alto que se levanta em termos futebolísticos chama-se Benfica.
Quero o Benfica intimidar o adversário. Quero um manto sagrado entrar com vocês em qualquer estado e assustá-los, pá! É isso que eu quero!
Yo, yo, yo. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Doll Benfica podcast. My name is Alfredo Fumaças, with you as always, with me, Cristiano.
You know what you just reminded me when you're like,
What
my
did
name
I
is Alfredo Fumaças. You reminded me of
What
an
did I remind
airplane pilot. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alfredo Fumaças, and today's flight is going to be... That's what you sounded like.
That's what I sounded? That's exactly what I was going for.
Daquela voz
I did good.
tranquila, calminha. That was it. That was it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Flight 1904,
Another volt.
flying from Lisbon to Lisbon.
No, to Istanbul, bro.
Is that where the final is?
Yes.
To Lisbon to Istanbul. We got clear skies up ahead. We got a little bit of turbulence about 10,000 feet up. We're going to coast up to 10,000 feet. And
That's it. Estás fodido, nunca mais lá chegas.
The fly,
Oh, and you're right. You might see Bruno Lage's ball still there in Istanbul.
the flight attendants
after
will.
a couple of years.
The flight attendants are going to come around the cabin with some bifanas in some small, and some chocolate mousse for your dessert.
Yep.
We hope you enjoy your flight. I am your captain, and this is my co-captain, Cristiano Oliveira. Cristiano, diz olá aos passageiros.
When I have to captain this ship's going down, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a good sign. But what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Benfica podcast. What's the episode, Dave? 469. Episode 4. Dave is the numbers guy. So for those of you that are new to the podcast, Dave the Oliveira,
Dave
our
de
brother
Oliveira.
up in Canada.
No relation.
The stats magician.
Stats magician.
Yes. And before Alfredo, I pass you back the controls of this airnav. Want to say hello to the Freddy. I want to say hello to the Freddies in the chat. Welcome, guys, and thank you once again for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here on the
That's
Benfica
right.
podcast.
Today we're actually coming to you a day earlier. You usually come on Tuesday, but I actually am flying out to Portugal tomorrow.
Show off.
Sorry.
Show off. You couldn't just say we missed you guys. We wanted to talk to you guys 24 hours earlier.
Yeah, but then I wouldn't be telling the truth.
Oh, damn. That's foul.
That's the truth, right?
You better hope the airplane pilot or any of them stewardess are not listening right now. Amanhã no teu voo.
All I want is my bifana and my small. That's it. Dave de Oliveira, what's happening over there, Dave?
What's going on, guys? Do they even still? I've never been on a flight where they've served bifanas. You got to hook me up with this airline that serves bifanas. I barely get anything flying over here in Canada. You got to pay for everything. It seems like.
It's not.
Unless you go on top. Top is still one of the better ones. You get a Sagres on top.
Get a
but
Sagres?
if
You
you're
do.
flying with If you're flying with any other Canadian airline to Portugal, you're shit out of luck.
The only problem with TAP, Dave, is that you'll get your Sagres, but you might not make it to your destination because they'll lay you over and hold you over for like hours and hours and hours. So, but hey, at least you get your Sagres.
They drop you off in the middle of the Atlantic, and that's it. That's all she wrote. Anyway, here we are. Episode number 469, as Cristiano mentioned, on tap tonight. We will recap the Portimonense game, look ahead to Varzim, Portuguese Cup game this Tuesday or tomorrow as we record this, and also we got a big derby. The derby,
De la Madonina. No, so wrong derby. I really do like, but I do like saying Derby de la Madonina. I like saying that. That's the Milan and Inter, but that's not the derby we're talking about. Talking about
you could
derby.
Probably change Madonina for another word.
No, but I like the way it sounds. The Madonina. You know what I mean? It's just the whole Italian pronunciation.
I get it.
It's like saying caralho in Portuguese. It just rolls out of your tongue.
That's right. The derby that happens this weekend against Sporting.
We got Hugo in the chat, by the way. He likes to tell everybody I'm looking older.
Shit.
Yeah, and he's saying that I got the estrelas todas tortas. Yo.
Eu disse ao gajo, pá. Estrelas estão tortas,
That's
man.
it. That's his. He says é o ecrã dele, bro. That's his screen, bro.
I told him the stars are crooked. He said, I don't care. It's okay. It's all right.
Hey, the important thing is there's 3 stars. And that Hugo cross-sighted. He's cross-sighted. He can't see.
Yeah. Yeah, I told him the stars are crooked, bro. The stars are crooked, but he said it's okay. It's all right. Nobody's gonna notice except Hugo.
Except Hugo.
Yeah, so here we are. Let's get right into it, man. I hope everybody's doing well. I know we're in the winter.
Yeah, I can't wait till
Happy New Year's to everyone.
Outra vez.
You
said that last week.
I did. We were here last week.
Yeah,
we were here.
Dave, this guy.
Shit.
This guy's on such a ecstasy.
I'm thinking
he's on such a high that he's leaving tomorrow that he's forgetting all his numbers and all his dates.
No such thing.
But listen, before you carry on, just last thing.
Go ahead.
I want to tell the Freddies that feel free, send the questions. We'll try to give you guys the respostas whenever we can.
Brian Peters just asked you a question.
He said, "Boa noite."
Meninas.
That's asking a question.
Yeah. He's asking you if you're a menina.
Dumbly shut.
O derby da menina.
Epa, agora o Manny Valada. Eu tô feliz. I'm about to take down the stars. Estás a ver o que começou?
Let me change this to live chat so we can see everybody. Yeah, the stars are the stars. If you got ADHD, those stars are bothering you, man. Don't look. Turning this shit off. Just looks awful.
No, what's wrong with the stars, bro?
You remember when they did that thing at the Holland Tunnel with the Christmas trees and people complained and they had to switch it around?
No.
You don't remember?
No.
It was around Christmas, maybe
I'm more of a Lincoln Tunnel type of guy.
A couple of years ago. They try to do something with the letters at the entrance of the Holland Tunnel. They put some Christmas decorations and some giant wreaths, but it didn't match. Like it was off. One of the wreaths was on top of another letter. And people were going absolutely berserk with that. I don't know if anybody remembers. For you guys that live here in
Foi escrito por português after a couple of nights out.
I don't know. I think after a while they kind of left it there on purpose just to mess with people. But anyway, here we are. Enough chit-chat. We're just, we like to do a little chit-chat in the beginning, get everybody on board. Tá tudo aquecido, tá tudo com as pernas quentes, ready to go. And with your fingers warmed up, ready to type the questions. Let's talk about Portimonense, right? Benfica returned to Estádio da Luz to play. Huh?
Portuguese.
Some people might say that. Some people might say that.
Just clarify.
But yeah, Portimonense... I'll give you the lineup. Vlaco Dimos was in goal. Bach, Silva, Otamendi, Grimaldo. Tino, Chiquinho, João Mário, Draxler, Orsnes, and Ramos was the starting 11. Benfica, after the loss at the Pedreira against Braga, needed to respond. And I thought that they played pretty well, with the exception of they didn't score as many goals as they should have. Chris?
It was an improvement from the last game, though, I'll tell you.
We got a feature this
não faças isso,
this
bro.
week. Peraí.
Hey, no. Hey,
It's the Chris cam.
Okay, but the stars, they can see the stars.
The stars are
They're
not.
gonna complaining about the stars.
Stars are not crew. Yeah, this is Chris cam. So whenever
Chris
Chris
cam.
is going on one of his
I'm not
rants,
saying anything today.
we're just gonna turn it off to turn it on to Chris and his blue eyes,
Epa.
and yeah, but here we are. Here we are. Let's start with this. Obviously, you guys heard us here on the podcast talking about Enzo and how.
You talk about goals, not scoring, and then you go
I
to
know, but I
Enzo.
can't.
You're like you're
I'm-
worse
I'm
than
all
the
over-
stars,
I'm all
bro.
over
You're all over the place.
I'm all over the place. Yeah, I'm all over the place. But before we get into the game, I wanted to talk about Enzo.
See,
We talked here about Enzo in terms of that Roger Schmidt needed to protect the team because of Enzo, because there was a good possibility that Enzo was going to get booed and whistled, and I think that was something that Roger Schmidt didn't want. Obviously, we gave you the facts. Went to Argentina without permission for New Year's, came back, missed the first couple training sessions of the new year, was obviously punished for it, and didn't make the team, didn't make the 11 or the bench for this game. And I thought that was the right thing. No one's above the club. There's rules and protocols to be followed, and I think that this was a perfect example of how you handle a situation like this in a professional manner, right? So if I have rules at my job and I miss work and I get suspended as a result, the guy that works next to me, I expect him to have the same treatment if he were to behave in the same manner. So I think it's great that Benfica didn't open any precedents, that they followed the rules and the mandates and the protocols that the club has, and as a result, the player got punished. What do you think, Cristiano? Was it the right thing to do?
What do I think? I mean, I said last week that's exactly what was going to happen. I said he wasn't playing, he wasn't dressing. There was no way you could put him on the bench. I said at some point they're going to come down and fine him. They were going to keep it in-house, and that's exactly what they did. And so, look, credit to Benfica, credit to Roger, credit to Rui for having the culhões in a very difficult situation, right? Because as we all talked about, Enzo's head was made up, and it was very delicate. And they found a way to go around it, so much so that the very next practice, you've seen Enzo posting pictures with the rest of his teammates. Obviously, it looks like he's made up with everybody. It looks like he's ready to turn the page. I mean, Benfica, I think they made themselves clear. Roger Schmidt came out in his pregame press conference, which was after we did the podcast. Obviously, I believe it was Friday, right? The game was
Friday.
The game was
The game was Friday.
So then this was Thursday.
What was Thursday?
Yeah,
The
the
press
the
conference.
pregame.
The pregame
Yeah.
press conference. And Roger Schmidt was pretty clear, I think. I think he told everybody that he was very unhappy about a club that had approached one of his players about the whole shenanigans. And he said, look, we're not willing to sell. We're not interested in selling any player below their release clause. And Benfica stood firm. And they fined them, did what they had to do. And I think that sends a clear message to everyone at the club, the youngsters, the veterans, anybody who thinks of pulling off these antics. Benfica is not going to take them lightly. So credit to them, but if I recall, that's exactly what I said was going to happen last week on the podcast. Right, David?
And the thing is that Dave, let me just say this, because we've been, and I don't want to say victims, but exposed to coaching and guys whose persona in the media is not what it's supposed to be, right? Or at least not at the height of what I expect from my club, right? You had Jorge Jesus, and we all know how that went. But here's a guy that completely set the stage, right? So he gave us the facts, right? And then after the game, he said, he was asked about Enzo not being on a team, right? And he said, Enzo did this. He had to go through this disciplinary process, but now his slate is clean. He wants to be here with us.
And he massaged them a little
and
bit.
that's
But
it.
No, and he said, we need him.
Yeah.
We need him, we need him to win a
He
championship.
came in and he did that masseuse trick, Dave. You know, when they dig their fingers into you, and they that's
Roger,
what exactly what he
Roger
did.
Schmidt handled this perfectly,
Yeah, Dave.
right? He had to come down hard on the player which he did, right? To set the other players in line, because we've seen in the past with these group of players, once you start letting the inmates run the prison yard, it's game over with this club. So Roger Schmidt was tough when he needed to be tough, but then also at the end when he handled it in front of the press, he took the player's side. He didn't really stomp on him while he was down. If anything, he twisted it around and he put the blame on Chelsea. Didn't name Chelsea. He named the club that was in negotiations with him. But I think this was an A+ class on media relations by Roger Schmidt. So if he's putting out any textbooks out there, make sure any inspiring coaches you pick those up there.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is after the game, you send a clear message to the fans, right? Because there was fans that were ready to boo and whistle Enzo, right? But you send a clear message. He's a good boy. He's happy to be here, and we need him to win the championship. We need him to win the championship. That means not only him, but me, Cristiano, Dave, all the Freddies on the chat, everybody that's a Benfica fan knows that we need him to win the championship. And the fact that he said he wants to be here, right? He wants to be here. That's perfect. That's perfect because you set the stage now that there's a very small probability. There's always those knuckleheads, right? But there's a small probability that people are going to boo and whistle Enzo next time he's on the field, right? So he set it up perfectly, Dave. And I couldn't have thought of a better way. And the thing about him coming out and said, look, the price was the price. Chelsea, made an agreement with the player without even having the resources to make this negotiation because the price was the price. And as it turns out, as we found out, I think that Chelsea showed up with 85 million and some players. And no, that's not the price. And I thought it was great by Schmidt once again. All the shit that you've heard in the media throughout the week, story this, story that. Enzo doesn't want Benfica. Enzo wants to leave now. He no longer wants to play. All that narrative that you get fed by the media and you get upset because you think this is the truth, but the fact is that there's always three sides to every story. And now all of a sudden, we're finding out all the facts. We're finding out all the facts that, no, it was never like that. And Enzo wants to be here. And Enzo, he did, in fact, miss practices. He got disciplined for it. But he wants to be here. He wants to be a part of this team. And we need Enzo. And I think that couldn't have been a better press conference, both before and after the game by Roger Schmidt, that really set the stage in terms of what how Enzo what Enzo means to this team and how Enzo is viewed by this team or should be viewed by this team, not only by the locker room and his teammates, but also by the fans. And I thought it was a complete masterclass by Roger Schmidt, one of the many that he's already given in his short time of that he's been at Benfica. But let's get into the game though. So quick start by Benfica. Penalty right in the ninth minute. João Mário put that away, and usually I think that with the team wanting to answer so quickly, and we saw the way the team started in terms of wanting to show the fans that hey, this thing with Braga was just an odd thing, an outlier for us. We really are the team that you've seen, and we're capable of much more. And I think that the team wanted it right away. They started fast, got that goal, and it's a good thing that they got that goal because the biggest thing I think is sometimes the team with that anxiety to respond and not getting the goal, which we saw throughout the game that Benfica had plenty of chances but couldn't convert them. So it's a good thing that we scored that goal because had we not scored that goal. Now, as the clock ticks, it starts playing against us, and I think that players start getting more anxious. We did get a second penalty that Auschwitz missed, and I got to be honest, David. I don't know how you saw this, but I thought that João Mário was lucky that the keeper didn't save his penalty, because I thought it wasn't struck very well. The keeper got a hand to it, but it still got past him. And I don't know if maybe he felt that he wasn't feeling it that day. And he obviously there's a pecking order, but maybe he said, Auschwitz, you take it. Right. So I
Yeah,
don't know. What
I
would you
think
think?
that's exactly what happened there, Alfredo. João Mario ultimately scored, but it wasn't the greatest of penalties taken. It was just slightly off to the goalie's right hand side, João Mario's left, if I'm not mistaken. And then, like you said, keeper did get a hand to it, but did not make the save. We get the goal. So and it's not like this was later on in the game. This is another 10 minutes that goes by. So I think it's easy here to second guess now that we saw what happened with Arshness's PK. But at the time I was on board with that. The only thing that quite I have questions is usually you get like your striker to take these PKs, but I know these are trained on at the training camp in terms of penalties, and they probably have training sessions for it. So who knows? Maybe it goes João Mario and Arshness, but um, Arshness pretty much mimicked the exact same type of penalty that João Mario took, but the keeper got a hand on it instead this second time around. But good thing for us that we ended up getting that João Mario PK goal in the 8th minute, because like you said, it wasn't so much of a struggle for creating chances, but God, was it ever a struggle to put those chances away. And if this game shows you anything, is we really need somebody with that finishing touch there in the that striker position.
Yeah, and Roger Schmidt was asked after the game about why there was a change, and he said that the decision was made on the field. It wasn't his instructions. So I get what I get to what Nick is saying. Nick was saying maybe it was a short of support. I don't think that was. I just thought that João Mario didn't hit all that well, and perhaps he's not feeling it. And look, if you've played, there's times that you don't feel it, that your touch is a little loose, and then there's other times that you know that you're on, right. So I don't know if that was the case with João Mario. But certainly, there's a pecking order, and I think that Chiquinho is even in that list, or that short list of penalty takers. And he's taken some already. I've seen him, but I don't know if it's so much as a support as João Mario saying, "Hey, take that." Because I'm just not feeling it. But I get it. It could have been a support also. But I don't know if at this point Enzo needs the support. I think that Auschwitz needs the support. I think that Auschwitz has cemented a place on this team with his with the multifaceted center midfielder that he could be, right? And if you watch the game, you saw that Benfica or Roger Schmidt deployed him much higher than what he usually plays, right? He usually plays next to Tino, or he plays on one of the sides. And this time he played behind Ramos. And the reason for that is because he has more of a lung, and he has more of intensity in terms of pressing. And I think that's what Benfica needed. While they usually have Rafa, who could cover a lot of ground because he has a lot of speed, Chiquinho is not the guy that's going to press guys, because he's a guy that he has the lung, he has the stamina, but he doesn't have that speed to cover ground, to get to places to press. And I thought it was brilliant to put Auschwitz there. And again, look, I think that we've spoken several times here about Roger Schmidt and how Roger Schmidt continues to impress us. But it's a perfect example how he looks at his team, and regardless of not having a lot of options for the center midfield, he has found out players and players' traits and players' positioning that help this team the best. And I think you can't take that away from him. So, I don't know, Dave. What do you I mean, aside from all the wasted goals, and trust me, there were a lot of wasted goals. What did you think of the game? Or wasted chances?
I said if I'm not mistaken, I did say it was going to be a 1-0 score line. I thought the only hope and saving grace in this game was that we were creating chances, right? If you just look at the scoreline, see 1-0, you would have thought that it was a struggle, but really we controlled this game. I'm looking at the stats here: 71% possession, 26 shots, 12 shots on net. But really, we just lack that finishing effort there, especially with the guy of Gonzalo Ramos, where
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, a couple of Freddies in the chat last week were saying they'd rather him Ramos stay compared to Enzo, which I think is ludicrous. But and I'm sure like he'll have some suitors here coming in the summertime, and we'll cash a check off him. But he really lacks that killer finisher instinct, and I really hope, but I'm not going to hold my breath on it, but I would really hope that we bring in another striker here in this transfer window. But I don't see that happening. Just how this team has operated in past January transfer windows, but that would be my hope there.
That's what we all hope. And the thing is that and Seferovic used to waste a lot of goals, but he was just like, he was a little bit clumsy at times. Just didn't have the touch to put away those goals. But that, I don't think that's the case with Gonzalo Ramos. He had a couple free headers that he could have put away. He had a couple other. He had one flick that hit the keeper on the chest. So he had a couple of chances, but it's just that finisher. He just doesn't have certain finishing skills that, I mean, we've seen in players like, and I hate to go back, Cardozo, Jonas, even Mitrovic. They just had that killer instinct where they could, with very few chances, they could put balls away. And I think that it's proven that Gonzalo Ramos now, with a lot of chances, his probability of putting the ball in the net is low. But that's not to say that he doesn't put himself in a position to score and to put balls away. He's just not finishing. As is the whole team, right? So Musa came in, same problem. Henrique Araújo got some time, and albeit not enough time, but same problem. So we had a couple guys that missed out. I thought that Auschwitz had a couple good chances too that he could have put away. João Mário, same thing, had a good save by the keeper. So there was a bunch of chances there that we could have put away. And I think that as this game develops, Dave, and we're watching the game, we're trading a couple messages on a chat. Somebody said, actually, I think that Cristiano was saying that I already know this is going to be a 1-0 result, and we're going to go down to the end where we're going to have our backs against the wall, and we're going to be suffering because it's, Portimonense, maybe they'll score a goal on a set piece, and I think that one of the only chances that they had was on a set piece, and then all of a sudden our backs are against the wall, and that's one of the things that when you play at a high level at the Champions League and you don't put goals away, you're gonna get found out. Somebody's gonna put them away, and then you're gonna be in trouble. So I think it's worrisome. It's worrisome that Benfica doesn't have somebody that can't put these balls away when we create such a huge volume of offensive chances.
And now that's also with saying, as we discussed, we had a couple of our starters off from this match, Rafa, Enzo. So maybe if those guys are in, they score a couple too, and then it just takes a little bit pressure off these other guys here. But it wasn't a good performance in terms of the finishing in this match. The overall chances and the offensive plays that were created, it was great. It was much more of a dominant game than the 1-0 scoreline shows. But that lack of finishing is a little bit worrisome. But I'm more likely to give them a pass just because of some of those key players that were missing this past weekend. But 3 points, and at the end of the day, that's the you're gonna have to scrap through some of these greasy wins and just move on to the next game.
I think that 3 points is the most important thing after dropping points at the Pedreira. right? And especially with Sporting on the horizon. And apparently, Porto and Sporting are on the up and up. They're playing such great football after the break that they're on a tear. But apparently, that's not the case. Sporting continues to be the usual Sporting that we've seen. That after Christmas, shit goes nuts. But the thing is that it was important for Benfica, but it's not the first game that we've seen the team put a good enough volume of chances and not put balls away. And I think what was it against? Was it Moreirense against the
Yeah,
for the
for the
League
Taça,
Cup
right?
that the keeper stood on there? I mean, the keeper was great in that, but all the chances we have to put them away, man. A team of Benfica's caliber has to have a guy that puts chances away, especially because Roger Schmidt's style, right, and game idea is something that's very vertical and very balanced forward. There's a lot of guys that appear in the final third, ready to finish or ready to make something happen. But I did enjoy the fact that the team was playing around. The combinations in the final third, quick combinations to get past guys to create mismatches. I absolutely loved it. I just missed the finishing touch, which is a shame because when you play that great of a match and that great of quality of game, the goals are kind of this cherry on top of it. And I think that even though we won 1-0, and I'm happy that we won, I'm kind of left with it almost like um, an empty feeling where I felt that Benfica could have scored 2, 3 goals, maybe 4 goals on this Portimonense team. We did create that many
And
chances.
yeah, I mean, like small sample size here, but 2 goals in their last 3 games too, right? And I believe Goal Point had posted something about Benfica was averaging over two goals a game prior to the World Cup stoppage, and could be rust, could be a number of different factors here, but early and small sample size, but they got to work on finishing those chances and start putting those goals away again.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's finishing training. I'm sure there's finishing sessions that's taking place at the Seychelles. I don't know. Maybe we got to go to the Bruxa because there's something going on. But, I don't know, man. It's Benfica needs to put these chances away because other than that, I mean, you're just creating, and creating. You're not putting chances away. That it's frustrating. It's frustrating to see it. But as you mentioned, Dave, 3 points, most important. Porto drops points. Sporting drops points. And here we are when we thought everybody was thinking that we were going to go on a downward spiral after that Braga game, and then we're going to lose Enzo, and here we are, still on top, back to our winning ways. Enzo's still with us, and now we got a couple important games on the horizon. Let's start with give us the stats on this Portimonense game, Dave.
Yeah, João Mario scored his 11th of the season, 6th in the league competition, which happened to also be his 150th match in the Portuguese league. Benfica, prior to Arsenal's miss, had converted 27 penalties in a row, so time to build up a new streak here. And as I alluded to earlier, Benfica complete domination, but lacked that finishing touch. 26 shots, 12 of those on target, but only one at the back of the net.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the stats of this game as just like overwhelming Benfica, and the scoreline is so short that it's an indication of a little bit of frustration that we have in terms of fans and Benfica not putting it away. Turning our attention now to Portuguese Cup. Benfica will travel up north to the Povo de Varzim to play Varzim. Varzim is what, in the second league, Dave, if I'm not mistaken? Yeah.
Third league, third division. So, yeah, below the second division there.
They're in the Portugal Championship, I think that's what's called.
One of Well, they have like the third league, and then they have like the A League, B League, C League.
Oh, yeah.
But it's the third division.
But here's and the game happens this Tuesday. But here's a curious thing, and Dave, I guess you want to go into it, but our friend Baquero tweeted the last, what was it, 10 or 15 games that we played against Varzim.
Yeah, not so much in our favor.
Yeah, but Dave, go through
there.
that. When was the last time we beat Varzim?
So last time we played them was back in 2007, February 2007 for the TASA as well. We also lost 2-1 during that fixture. That was the quarterfinals of the TASA back in 2007. Prior to that, the last 5, 2 wins, 1 draw, 2 defeats. So we haven't played them in over close to 15 years, but previously to that, our last 5, not so favorable, with only 2 wins and a draw and 2 defeats against the side. Historically,
the last 3 were all ties, right?
The last, let me bring that up. No, there was a win in there, and then another defeat in 2002.
Yeah, so it hasn't been the best record against Varzim. And look, if I'm Roger Schmidt, I'm printing that just the history of results that we had with Varzim to send a clear message to the team that this can't happen. We're playing against a third level team, and we have to show our dominance because we're the dominant team and we're the favorites here, regardless of whether we're playing at home or not. So just another game in the Portuguese Cup that Benfica has failed to win the Portuguese Cup now for quite some time now, and we need to get back to the Jamor or whatever they'll play it to play the Portuguese Cup and to win it, because it's a trophy that eludes us, or that has eluded us for quite some time. So just go out there and win. Dave, do you think that Enzo plays tomorrow?
I would get him back into the mix here, and from what I've read, is they're going to go with their strongest 11, which you gotta compliment Schmidt for. I know sometimes in the past we've talked about squad rotation and giving some guys some rest, but really we've had rest for the last month and since the World Cup started, right? So it's getting the engine back going with these guys and getting them clicking on all cylinders, especially because we do have a big game this weekend, right? But get the strongest 11 out there, build some confidence going into the weekend.
Yeah, sorry guys, I'm having a hard time keeping up with the chat because Cristiano just stepped away for a little bit. But Nick is saying, does Neres still have an injury? So Roger Schmidt was asked at the end of the game against Portimonense what was the status on Neres, and Roger Schmidt said that the medical department had only allowed or told them that Neres is only allowed to play 10 minutes. So that's what he followed. He followed the medical department's instructions, and that's what he played. Will he play against Varzim? Probably not. I think that he'll probably give him a little bit more rest. He'll give him a week's rest to be fresh against Sporting. At least I would if I would be Roger Schmidt, if I was Roger Schmidt. But I think that, I always ask the question, do you think there's going to be some rotation? But we already know the answer to that. Roger Schmidt does not rotate squads. He plays with his strongest 11 at all times, and I love that. I love that because your most important game is always your next game. So you need to approach, your next game as your most important game. So put in your most important players, as long as you have faith in them, or whoever you're bringing from the bench, you have faith in them. But I don't expect to see a very large number of turnover or rotation against Varzim. As a matter of fact, I think that we'll play our strongest 11. I don't even think that Elton Milk will come in, because he hasn't.
No.
So.
Oh.
Yeah, Roger Schmidt just don't mess around. It's the strongest 11 is the strongest 11. We don't mess around. We'll worry about the game that's in front of us, and then we'll worry about Sporting. All right, turning.
Which I think they were doing the opposite this past weekend. They already had their eye towards the game against us and not taking care of business in Madeira, but that's for another
that's their problem.
podcast.
Yeah, because you go into Maritim is dead last, if I'm not mistaken.
Second last. They might have been dead last going into that game, but I'm pretty sure they had.
Yeah, I think that only Paços Ferreira was under them with only 2 points, and Paços Ferreira got another point this weekend, I think. But yeah, I mean, there's always a chance that you look a little bit past an easy game. We always call it a trap game, and look, you wanted to come to Stade de Luz and be able to claw back 3 points and get closer, right? But now. You're coming into Stade de Luz in a situation where if you don't win, it's hasta la vista, baby, for Sporting. Because right now, they're 12 points behind?
They're 12 points behind us. It might already be that for them. I know that we still got a second half of the season to play. But
you think about it, and they gotta gain points on Porto. They got to gain points on Braga. They got to gain points on Benfica. That's a lot of points. It's not like they're 12 points and they're in second place. They only got one team ahead of them. But I mean, 12 points. I think that they're gonna come into Stade de Luz, and they're gonna need to understand what the importance of this game is to Sporting. And the same thing for Benfica. Benfica has a chance here to really put away Sporting for good, for the rest of the championship, and not have to worry about Sporting. And I think that Benfica needs to do it. Playing at Stade de Luz in those beautiful new LED lights that everybody's bragging about it, and I can't wait to see it this weekend. But certainly, I think that Benfica needs to be at the height of this game and really bring the game to Sporting. And hopefully we can put things away, goals away, I should say. Dave, what are your thoughts on this game? Do you think we're more than capable of winning, or do you think that perhaps the underdog role for Sporting is going to suit them in this case?
Oh, we're on Sporting, right? We're done with Verzim.
Yeah, we're done with Verzim.
With Sporting, it's hard to tell, right? Because you can look at it from two ways. One, they might already be out of the title picture, so they have nothing to lose. So they can come in and go full on attack with nothing to lose, as they're, like we've already alluded to, 12 points behind, and still have multiple teams ahead of them. Or you can look at it the other way, where they are a wounded dog coming into to this match. I'm still not certain which Sporting we're going to see, but as Chris always says, whatever form you're coming into a derby, whatever's going on before the derby, throw it out the window, because at the end of the day, it's a derby, and emotions get involved, and you can come into the derby winless in 5 and come away with the 3 points, right? So it's going to be interesting to see, but hopefully our finishing gets better, and we're able to score some goals early for my nerves here.
Yeah, no, I think that an early goal would help, but I think that the way that Sporting has to approach this game is that they need to come at us. I expect Sporting to press high, and I think that Benfica will have to be able to beat that press, to get out of that press. But I do think that Sporting is not going to sit back. Sporting is not going to defend, because they need a win. And regardless of whether or not a win gets them closer, and even at 9 points, there's still 9 points, right? But you still had the whole second half to play. Benfica still has to play Braga. Benfica still has to play Porto, and have to play Sporting again. So Sporting at 9 points, there's still a little bit of a glimmer of hope, right? But I think that Sporting needs to come out and come out at Benfica, and usually it's not really something that we see typically from Sporting coming to Estádio Luz and having to be the one team with the initiative. But I think in this case, and perhaps
that happened last year.
that happened
3-1.
last year too.
Yeah, they that was the beginning of the end for JJ. That was the beginning of December, and we lost 3-1. I think it was three goals in the first half by Sporting, if I'm not mistaken there. So that's
so maybe
that's on the back of my head there. A little history.
Yeah,
That's
so
a
maybe
little bit of concern.
They'll take a little bit of inspiration off of that and see what they could do. But certainly, I think that I think it's going to play in Benfica's favor. But also, Dave, let's not forget that this is a different Benfica than JJ's Benfica, right? So maybe that's where the difference lies. But when you're being pressed high, you're being pressed high. It's going to be a difficult game for Benfica. You're going to be pressed high. The guys that operate or that pull the strings are going to be well marked, regardless of whether man to man or zonal. They're going to be well marked. They're not going to have a lot of time to make plays, to decide well. But I think that Benfica is at the height that at the level that we need them to be, and I think that I'm feeling confident about this game, and I think that Benfica will do well. Maybe maybe Sporting will be a little bit over eager for this game because they need the result worse than Benfica needs it. But Benfica needs to recognize that this is a chance that they have to just put out Sporting. That's it. Put them out to pasture for the rest of the year. And it would be great. It would be great if you could get rid of Sporting and the first round is not even over yet. So,
yeah, 15 points would be a lot to overcome. Even at that point, I'm trying to think Champions League might even be out of a Champions League spot might be out of the conversation for them. But
no, because
still,
I think it's
still half
only,
the season to go.
Yeah, only the top two that go into the Champions League. I don't know if the third goes into some kind of a prelim.
The playoff or not, right?
Playoff or something like. I'm not really sure. But I did hear somebody saying that only the two top ones go through. But that was the case last season too, and then Benfica was in third, and they were able to qualify. So maybe the first gets an automatic in, and then the second one has to play the qualification. I don't know how that goes. Maybe Cristiano would know, but he's not here right now. But yeah, I'm curious. I think it's going to be a good match. I think that I'm curious to see how Ruben Amorim sets up this team, and also Roger Schmidt, obviously. And I think, like you said, Dave, a derby is a derby, and regardless of what team is doing better than the other, derby is a derby. There's always extra loads of motivation for the players. What are the Freddies thinking on the chat? And give us a shout in terms of what you guys think. What you guys think the result will be. Robert Fernandez is saying top two automatic UCL spot. Yeah, I don't know about the third one, if the third one gets a qualifier or not. I think
we might be okay with the Russian suspension that's going on. I'm not sure, but I know that the Dutch are also have been passing us in the coefficient too, but I don't know when that goes into effect, if that would be for the 2023-2024 Champions League or if it's the Champions League after that. But I think we're still okay.
Yeah, because those things are usually like a couple years down the road is when you the results of the coefficient is when you kind of feel them a couple years down the road. Cristiano, top two automatic UCL berths, right? Third goes to a qualifier. Is that your understanding for Champions League?
For the Portuguese League? Yeah, I think one more year. At least this upcoming.
One more year, it's like that.
I think this upcoming season. Yeah, I think Holland is, if they didn't take over, they're very close to taking over.
That's what they were saying, that Holland has been doing well.
Yeah.
To gain some points on us. Russia has been basically eliminated, so we can't count on those Russians.
But the problem is that this the stupid coefficiency. It's exactly that. It's stupid. So I complained about this here, Dave. If you recall on a podcast last year, towards the end of last year, when I talked about the coefficiency, which was so now you have this what's that shit called that Mourinho won and he was crying?
The
Conference League.
Conference League. So now you have Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League, right? And I gave the example last year here. Benfica goes into Torino and beats Juventus and gets, I don't know what the correct point is, the awarded points, but let's just say for shits and giggles, 6 points for the victory, right? For beating Juventus and Torino in a Champions League match. If you beat somebody, whatever, home, away, doesn't matter, in the Europa League, you get the same 6 points. And the worst part about it is this, what's it, Conference League you call? So you get the NAC Bredas, the PSVs, these other teams, that you know, the AZ Alkmaars, whatever, from Holland, who were whipping on the competition in this Conference League, and they're accumulating 6 points. I don't know what the correct point, guys. I know someone you correct me. I don't know. I'm just saying it right now. It's whatever the point, the points it is for being awarded. They're getting the same amount of points for a Conference League victory that they're getting for a Champions League victory. And so, therefore, Portuguese teams, it's really just Benfica and Porto that are making any type of points. And then where in Holland, they had like 5 teams that were alive and going deep in these.
Our Portuguese
leagues.
teams haven't been doing anything in the Conference League the last 2 seasons. They've been getting some very tough draws in the first and second rounds against some bigger teams that are more of Europa League type of caliber. So we haven't had the draws going our way in that Conference League, but yeah, that's exactly where the Dutch are making their points, is having all their teams in the competition, and then they're going far in the Conference League and Europa League as well.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, Robert Fernandez is saying top 2 automatic, 3rd UCL qualification.
Yeah, it is this year.
4th and 5th Conference League qualification spot.
Yeah, but I think it'll change next year. So, or if it's not, it was very close. But it's still, again, the way they award points for these competitions, it's absolutely ridiculous. And Portugal, I mean, we've all known for many, many years now, Portugal's a 3-team league. Whether when it's Sporting that's alive or Braga, whichever one, it's still a 3-team league. And throughout these European competitions, the league does not do a very good job of scoring points for the league, and therefore we're always going to be in these battles. This
season has been an exceptional season with both Porto and Benfica in the knockout rounds, and Sporting also doing well in Europe. But Nick Valadão
now our hope is Braga drop down to the Conference League. So if Braga can do some damage and make a run to the Conference League, that's Portugal's only coefficient hope there. It's on Braga on picking up some of those in the the Conference League.
Yeah, Nick Valadão is saying, I feel like we were talking about Sporting, by the way, Chris. I feel and many Valadão is saying, damn, Chris, that was a long deuce.
So you really waited to read that dumbass message?
No, you
validated something dumb by making it even dumber.
I thought it was funny. I feel like Sporting will come after us. Their season is on the line here, and it would be fantastic opportunity to put them away for good. Yeah.
Who said their season's on the line?
Nick Valadão.
Nick, their season is done, Nick. What line? Even if they win this week, there'll be 9 points. It's done. Forget about on the line. Their season's been done.
I was telling Dave earlier, if they were in second place and they had 12 points, right?
What do you mean they had 12 points? They were 12 points behind.
12 points behind. They were in second place, 12 points behind Benfica, right? Yeah. If they beat Benfica, right?
It would have made their season. Points. It would have made their season.
No, but listen. 9 points away, right? They know that Benfica still has to play Porto, Benfica still has to play Braga, and Benfica still has to play Sporting. So those could be 9 points that could be had. Now at 12 points and in 4th place, you have to gain points on Porto, you have to gain points on Braga, you have to gain points on Benfica. So as you mentioned, their season may as well be done.
Kavupa!
Or maybe their season now is getting that third place for Champions League.
They are focused. They are ultra focused on Sunday. That's their objective. That was their trap game last week against Marítimo, where they slipped up and lost 1-0 in Madeira. They've been looking forward to this game for as long as they can remember. This is their season. This is what they look up to. This is what they look forward to. This is what they want, is to come into Estadio de Luz and hopefully. You still looking at the stars? They're straight, bro. To me, they look straight. I don't know about you guys. What's wrong with them?
None of them are straight.
What do you mean? They're a little curvy. I mean,
they're
what?
a little curvy. This one's fucked up.
Oh, wait, you can't twist it, dummy. You gotta actually shut. All right, see, you broke it. You break it, you pay for it.
I fixed it.
Okay, but what's wrong with them being?
That's even worse.
I know. You should have left it the way it was. Tô lixado com vocês.
Ai, com caralho. Yeah, well, we're talking about Sporting and how this is an extremely important game for Sporting that they're going to come at us.
Why? They're 12 points behind.
You think they're just going to lay down?
It's not about who lays down when they play Benfica. Just look at this Japanese goalkeeper on Saturday, Friday, whatever the hell we played already. I forgot. Look at this Japanese goalkeeper that played against Benfica. My man looked like Ochoa from the World Cup. My man came in with the Ochoa form. Sure or not, Dave? He looked like a superstar.
Yeah.
And then Arsenal's made him look good, and everybody else was making him look good. And Gonçalo Ramos, even when the goalie wasn't in the goal, he was shooting it wide. It's just, man, it's one of those days. It's a good thing I didn't talk much about that game because
you missed that topic.
There's not much positives. There's not many positives I can say about that one game. But look, we did control the game for the most part. It felt like one of those games that we've seen Benfica, unfortunately, play too many of these, which was we control the game, but we didn't take advantage of our opportunities. And before you know it, the team comes down once and they level the game, they tie the game, and then we have a hard time. You don't want to see the stars, bro? Leave the stars.
There you go.
But yeah, it felt like one of those games that Benfica was going to be in trouble at some point. But, to their credit, they didn't. The very dominating game in terms of statistics. But we need to put the ball in the back of the net. And we have not done a good job of that lately.
I agree.
It's been like 3 months.
We had this whole conversation already, Chris.
It's all right, but I clarify it for everybody.
I was curious to what your take was going to be.
My take is we need a new striker. We need a new winger.
Everybody knows that.
I don't know. That dude's got cement for feet. Every time. Bro, I'm telling you.
We're talking about a renewal.
Guys.
We're talking about finishing his career at Benfica.
Yeah, I know. Guys. let me explain a little something to you, right? The easiest ball to kick is a pass back, a rolling ball. Just smooth. That shit just bounces right off your foot.
You don't even have to put power.
It's the easiest ball to kick. Yet Vlaco Dimos makes it seem the most difficult kick in the history of football every time the ball is passed. He always gets it off the side of his foot, and I don't know, dude. It's just, come on, Vlaco. You can do so much better. Alfredo, what's the easiest ball to kick?
The one that's rolling towards you.
That shit's so easy.
I always loved those. Those were the best.
It's
you
so
don't even
easy
have to
a
put
baby
power.
could do.
You just have to get it nice. Get it nice and square on the ball.
You just gotta just hit it.
Just rolling
Hit
towards
it
you.
properly.
Chris, when you were a baby and you learned how to play, it was the first fucking thing that you did was the ball was rolled to you. It was the easiest kick.
Just kick it. Yeah. But he makes it seem difficult every single week.
Do you think when he plays with his daughter kicks it better than him as he rolls it to her?
I got a daughter. I'm not gonna make daughter jokes.
No, it's not a minute. It's just establishing. Maybe not.
Watch out. SOBs is what the F are you about with Adi? What are you about with? What are you about? What's that mean? Like, what am I bitching about? I think so, right?
Yeah.
He sucks, mate.
He sucks, mate. He's rubbish. I know that this thing about him renewing and finishing his career at Benfica really has me alarmed. Come on, bro.
Stop.
Don't do this to me, man. Stop. Don't do this.
Alfredo, you and I have these conversations every other week. And Dave, I think I've told you a few times. Please stop paying attention to the coppers, bro. I don't pay attention to half of the stuff these guys say. Are you showing this? Is it actually going live?
yet.
Oh, not yet. Oh, damn. You got this all squared up. Chris Cam, new angles.
The whole time I was waiting for you, I was setting shit up. I had time to do shit. Now the stars, I got to give you the credit. I can't take the credit for the
Stars look perfect to me. It's 3 of them. That's all. Doesn't matter where they go.
Stars are lining up.
The stars are lining up, baby, for 38.
Wow, dude. Yeah, but yeah. What you guys wanna risk a prediction for the derby?
Epa, what about Verzin?
We already went through that.
Verzin's important.
Brazil is very important.
For the 1 millionth time here on the Benfica podcast, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say Benfica's got 3,000 Portugal in like what seems 58 years. It's important that we bring this connect back to the Luz.
Yeah.
But it seems a team that knocked out Sporting. Correct? Right, Dave?
That's correct. That's correct.
Look at that. It's just all these sporting connections. Benfica's. You going to go back on last week's predictions?
Yeah, I'm copy pasting them to my notes.
You could go ahead. You could say it. I was wrong.
No, we got to give credit to where credit is due.
Everybody was wrong. Where was
No.
the credit?
You said 3-1.
Oh, Dave said 1-0.
Dave said 1-0.
Oh, Dave did say 1-0.
And I said 3-0.
Grand Dave. No, you said 3-1, bro. No, you said 3-0.
You said 3-1.
I was going to do 4-0, but then I remember Rafa wasn't playing. So I switched to 3-1. And, bro, and look, it could have been. I don't understand.
It should have been. It should have been.
It should have been more. I don't understand. Like, why was Arsenal taking that PK?
Well, we already discussed that.
Okay, why? I'm asking you.
So here's
wanna know.
here's my read. Here's my interpretation. Right, João Mario didn't hit that ball all that great.
No, he did. That he got lucky. If the goalie actually would have done what I always complain about, that they just parried away, he tried to catch it. And I think his arms, he got alligator arms, and then went through his arms. He got lucky.
Yeah. So my thought is that at that moment, João Mario felt, I'm not feeling it. You know when you play, you warming up.
I always feel it, baby.
You can tell when it's on, when you're on, and when you're a little bit.
I'm gonna tell you a little something. You hear this about pitchers in baseball. There was a pitcher. I don't know if it was David Cone. I think it was David Cone threw a no-hitter with the Yankees, and he said it was the worst warm-up he ever had. He could not hit any spots. He couldn't throw his curveball. He couldn't throw his off-speed. He was just having a horrible day. He goes out to throws a perfect. I think it was a no-hitter. It wasn't a perfect game. It was a no-hitter. Believe it or not, sometimes, and I'm ass, but in my little video games, when I don't feel it, sometimes I come out and I play a lot better. It's crazy.
Dude, video
It seems
games?
Like I'm joking.
Talking
around.
about real.
Not video games. I'm talking about in real life. I'm saying my life is a video game. But in terms of like playing, right? Because people are like, but dude, like there was times where I just felt like, oh man, today's gonna be a rough day. It's kind of like, when I come here on the podcast, David, I'm like, I'm not gonna talk, and then I don't shut up for 3 hours. It's like that.
No, I think that maybe he wasn't feeling it, right? And so he said, Arsenal, you take this one, right?
But why Arsenal? That's the question.
There's a pecking order. So,
Bro,
Roger
did you
Schmidt-
see Arsenal's?
Well, listen,
Uh-huh.
Roger Schmidt was asked at the end of the game
Uh-huh.
about why Arsenal took the penalty kick, and he said the decision was made on the field, and that there's a list of guys that take
Okay.
penalty kicks. João Mario obviously being at the top because he's our designated. So who knows? Maybe
But you got Robert Lewandowski on the field, the future Robert Lewandowski, and he can't take a penalty?
I don't know.
Bro, did you see, hey Dave, if they had a pooper scooper, if they had a pooper scooper, they should have used it right after Arsenal, because my man was like, my man was,
No,
he
he was
was
just tired, man. This
was-
guy runs a lot.
He was
bro.
nervous as hell. And then he
But
hits that
hit
shit
it
penalty.
Better. He hit it better than João Mario.
No, he did it.
It was
They
it
hit
was
it the
more
exact
pace.
same.
The
It was
goalie,
more pace.
the goalie was already there by the time the ball. The goalie beat him to the spot.
Yeah, it
And
was
bro,
the- it
come
was
on,
the
it's
first
João Mario. You
penalty
can't
we've
take.
missed in a
can't-
while.
Like I don't understand these guys. And I think we've seen it in the World Cup, even with Messi and stuff like that with Argentina, where guys can't take 2 penalties in the same game. Like really? Right? For real? Am I the only one that thinks that's asinine?
Dave, you want to risk a
There's
prediction?
that's probably some sports science analytics baloney that that they take the percentages. What are the goalie might read your angles, and that's some sports.
Well, here's the
sports
thing, right?
analytics
Here's
bullshit.
a
I tell
very
you, Cristiano Ronaldo's not giving that PK up.
here's a very basic thing, right?
He's taking it from you, bro.
Hit it off your goalie's ass,
It
goes
don't
in,
matter.
and
It
he's
don't matter.
it's my goal.
Don't matter.
My goal. Here's the thing, right? And this is the most basic thing. If you're a lefty and you get a strong shot, it's gonna go to your right, to the goalie's left. If you're a righty and you got a strong shot, most likely it's gonna go to your left, the goalie's right. That's very That's very basic. That's a very basic thing.
No, I think it's harder. See, I totally disagree. I'm not trying to be an asshole to it, but because I think it's harder to kick across your body than it is to just kick it forward. In my experiences, taking a penalty, and plus I'm a guy. I took a step. I didn't take 50 steps. But when you coming in and you're shooting across your body, you got to hit that perfect. Where you just striking through the ball and getting it on goal as hard as you get. He just targets right in front of you, which is just hit it.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Am I right or wrong? When you kick to go like when a left, like you're saying, if a lefty's he's going across his body. That's harder to do, bro.
To me, the inside of my foot was always going to my left side. Off my instep was always going to my right side.
By the way, there's this thing. If you guys, Freddies, you guys listening at home, if you guys don't know this, if you do, good for you. If you don't, I'm teaching you. This guy in the stars, bro. I got quiet because Alfredo's fixing the stars again. There's this thing, Alfredo. They say, hey guys, try this. For real, Dave, try this. Go in your backyard and try it tomorrow. Go take a penalty, but don't strike the ball. Act as if you're striking it. Just step on the ball, whatever. But pick a corner, pick a spot where you're going to kick the ball. And where your plant foot is pointing, that's where you're shooting the ball.
See?
Check that out. It's crazy.
So all those years of being friends with goalies.
All you got to know, it was me. I came up with that.
You came up with that?
You think I talk to goalies? I don't talk to goalies. I'm telling you, when you plant your foot wherever your foot's pointing, that's where you're shooting the ball. I heard about this years ago, or I tried it. I don't know what it was, and I remember trying. I'm like, holy shit!
But you heard that from a goalie or no?
No, no. I only missed 2 penalties in my life. One Timmy Howard saved, and the other one I hit the crossbar. Everything else I scored. But I made it up. I made it. You heard the story. You heard me talking to Timmy about it.
I
made up for it the next year. The first touch.
So many times.
Hey, man, when you got something to brag about, you brag about it.
Sporting prediction. Dave, I'm going to start with you since you were the winner from last week.
2-1 Benfica.
Chris?
I haven't thought about it.
I'm going to go with...
But I'm like 3-0. I'm leaning that way.
I'm going to go with...
I like 3-0s. You notice?
I'm going to go with 2-1 also. You leaning 3-0?
Yeah.
So 2.5 or 3-0?
It's not going to go 2-1.
You don't think Sporting's going to score a goal? And you don't think Paulinho's going to light it up?
We got Paulinho. Nah, man.
Paulinho's the best forward in Portuguese football.
Yeah, he's been on fire against the Monks.
He's on fire, yeah. That's what he said. They win a couple games against the Monks. All of a sudden, they're going to win the championship.
2-0, 3-0. I'm stuck
Robert
between...
Fernandez 4-0. For this.
Full pow.
That's full pow.
That is full power. No, I'm going to say, man, everybody's playing. Everybody, if obviously, if nobody gets hurt against Varzim tomorrow, we should have a full squad. Enzo will be back. Rafa will be back. Otamendi obviously was on a yellow card watch. He'll still be available. He'll be available.
Think Enzo plays tomorrow?
Neres? I wouldn't play Neres. I'd wrap that dude up in bubble wrap and just keep him away and be ready and fresh for next week.
I said for the weekend.
I'm doing 3-0, Alfredo.
You doing 3-0?
Yeah, it's one of those games that I think Benfica's going to want to send a message. We've been playing like crap. You know, Sporting, again, we talk about this all the time. The first 15 minutes are crucial. But I think about Benfica, once they get rolling, they're hard to stop. The only question is, can these guys get the ball on net, man? That's the question. But maybe 3-0, I'm being a little bit too optimistic. But I get that feeling. 3-0.
3-0.
3 bolas a 0 batatas.
Wow. That's big.
Yo, I can't believe Dave beat me last week.
Dave was on the right track.
Dave.
I said no Rafa, no Nerj, no Enzo.
No party.
I thought it was going to be a much more contested game, but the one-line scoreline, as Alfredo and I already discussed, does not paint the full picture of the dominance in that game.
Exactly. Yeah. I absolutely love Arsenis, but I don't understand what the hell he was doing taking that penalty. Just my 2 cents.
Bro, he's on the list. He's on the fucking list.
He's on
Let
the list.
Take a penalty. And you know who was going to be after him? Chiquinho. Chiquinho could strike a penalty.
Apparently not better than Arsenis.
Apparently not, since he was third in line.
I mean, where's Gonzalo Ramos in this, man? The guy hit that banger in the World Cup, first touch, and now you can't take a penalty?
Only Messi and Ramos scored the hat tricks in this past World Cup.
Messi scored a hat trick?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mbappe.
Tô lixado contigo, pá. Vocês, you guys dream of Messi now.
I dream of Messi.
Yeah.
Let's do something that we usually don't do. Looking at tomorrow's papers.
João Félix no Chelsea.
Let's start. Enzo, médio argentino, reentra nas contas de Roger Smith. So Enzo back on the field. João Félix on Chelsea. Then you got the appointment, Robert Martinez, appointed by the FPF as
Robert.
New. Is it Robert?
Roberto.
Sorry.
Robert
Martinez. Roberto Martinez, appointed by the FPF as Portugal's next coach.
I don't care about what does it say. Alerta what?
He said.
Águias não quê?
Águias quê?
You got to read that. Who cares about the seleção? Águias.
I can't read that little.
Águias não vencem as.
Varzim.
As quê? Oh, there it is. As
Águias
últimas 6 visitas à Póvoa.
Pois.
That's what's important, not the rest of the other stuff. And João Félix is important. I got Roberto being appointed. The only guy I know that's happy is Hugo.
Why is Hugo so happy?
Because he says the guy's a tremendous coach, but Hugo's obviously got to screw him.
You know, this is not new, but he's already spoiled one good generation. Don't let him spoil another. And then
hey, what is that?
It's the Karate Kid move. This is from yesterday's record, and this is o jogo Zacapa. Roberto Martinez says that the starting point is the roster for Qatar.
Hey.
The roster of players that made the Qatar list, and the captain is on the list.
And o jogo is right back at it with the silly tactics. Remember years ago, every time Benfica went on the road to play somebody, the next day to be in the newspaper that Benfica is interested in their player? You recall that years ago?
Interested in?
It says now over there. Argentino deve ser usado hoje, mas a prioridade é o derby. Schmidt encerra caso Enzo. And then right below it says, Sila, central do Clube Rouge, referenciado. So now we're buying results once again. That's basically what it is. So we're buying players ahead of the matches so we could, at least we don't play them at halftime, right? We don't pay those debts at halftime in crumbling stadiums.
Yeah, so that's that. What do you? What's everybody feeling about Roberto Martinez? Not that it's a topic that we want to get into it, but I'm not a big fan of the appointment.
Look, I'll tell you this much.
I'd rather a Portuguese coach, man.
No,
Why
stop,
not? We
stop.
got much better Portuguese coaches than Roberto Martinez.
Stop. I don't like the whole Portuguese coach thing. Look, there's other coaches I'd rather have. I'll say that. I don't care what nationality they are. But I will tell you this. When Benfica appointed Jorge Jesus in 2009, I was not happy. 2009, 2008, whatever the hell it was.
His first appointment.
Yeah, of course. I didn't say 2018.
That one you were.
Oh, that one I was wrong. And then the other one when I was mad, I was wrong again. So that's why I'm going to this. That I'm not happy at first sight. I am not happy about this hire. But you know what? It's done. You can't be any worse than the Velhot. I mean, the Velhot didn't win a Caneco. But hope we gotta hope for the best and hope he proves me wrong now.
What's Hugo's argument in favor of Martinez?
That he plays attractive football.
Does he?
That's what he says. But Hugo
has Hugo watched Belgium and what they just did this?
No, and Hugo has amnesia. He forgets what he tells me.
But Belgium is an aging squad.
Yes, and Portugal does have a bigger pool. But look, here's the thing. At the end of the day, and this is what I keep telling myself over the last 48 hours after this news broke, which was, yes, I am not a fan of Roberto Martinez. Yes, I am not happy that he's our national team's coach. But we have to be fair. At the same time, the pool of coaches to choose from is not very deep. You know what I mean? The best coaches in world football all want club jobs rather than national team jobs. So, it is what it is. It wouldn't have been my choice, but he's here now. E temos que engolir. That's it.
Yeah.
He coached Belgium.
Do you think
They're
that
not
means
a terrible team.
that's there's going to be a change at the
Belgium was ranked
junior
number 1.
level for the national team?
Why? Because you think that Rui Jorge feels hard done?
No, stop.
Yeah.
Why? No, I don't think Rui Jorge had any. I told you guys.
Rui Jorge knows his role.
Yeah, the guys would eat him alive.
Oh, I wouldn't push him towards being the he wouldn't be my pick for the national coach, but maybe that's what he was hoping for. So now is he a little hurt with this decision? I mean, we'll never know, but
I mean, the worst that could happen to him would be named interim coach until they find a new coach. But you got official qualifying games right around the corner.
March. Is it March, right? Yeah, March.
So, I mean, what do you do from now until June if you're waiting for Mourinho to leave Roma? Of course, the president of FBF said that the one and only offer was for Roberto Martinez, not for Mourinho. Of course, he's going to say that. Chris called it. So,
What I call?
that the FBF was always going to say that Roberto Martinez was going to be the first choice, not Mourinho.
No, if they hired me and you, they would say we were the first choice. Doesn't matter. Whoever. Look, there's reports that they sought out Zinedine Zidane, as did the United States of America and apparently Brazil, and he turned all three of them down. I don't know if I believe any of those, but that's the word that's out on the street.
Raining is saying Deschamps. Would you take Deschamps over Martinez?
Deschamps, he re-signed anyway. He's staying with France. He's not going anywhere. He re-signed another 4 years. So, I mean, I don't like Deschamps. Deschamps' a guy.
I would have taken Jardim over Roberto Martinez.
I don't know. You know. I mentioned this. I'm just not a fan of Martinez. But you know a guy that would have been okay with the Portuguese national team, and I think the guy knows how to speak, and it's very important in that position. That's a guy like Bruno Lage.
He's too green for a national team.
I'm just saying.
That's what I think. He's too green for the national team. Would he have had the respect?
Glenn Gomes, my man.
Would he have had the respect of the players? I think he's a well-respected guy because he knows the game.
Who?
Lage.
No, I don't look. At least in Portugal, he's well respected, and that's all that matters.
Do you think that Cristiano had any say in the hiring?
Not this one.
Not this one.
No, I think a lot of it. I think they made up their mind. They wanted to go foreigner because they have to deal with this Ronaldo situation. They slowly have to weed him out, and
so you think
not having a guy that's got ties. Who, Roberto?
Roberto is going to be the fall guy for.
I don't think he's going to be the fall guy.
It's not my. He's the coach. He's the one that decides. It's not my problem.
But at the end, if he decides that Ronaldo is no longer useful, he's got no.
I think Ronaldo's making that decision for him.
I don't know how much useful.
I don't think so, Dave. I used to think that. I don't think that's the case any longer.
Saudi Arabia.
I don't think Ronaldo calls his shots anymore. I will guarantee you and anybody else that Ronaldo does play another national team game. That I could guarantee you.
You think
one more?
You think so? In a competitive game,
or
not
tournament?
A friendly.
Oh, Dave,
A game or a tournament?
He plays. No, instead of game, he plays another game. Ronaldo, as we've known, is all about records. He's tied right now with I forget who, for 194 national team appearances.
The guy from Iran
might be Iran. He ran. We ran. He might be. I mean, he might. He is tied with him. Whatever it is, I forget what the player is. For most, national team appearances. So he's at the very least, he's gonna get one more game.
for the record.
And for the record, and bro, let's be honest. Even if it's a friendly, Ronaldo does deserve an opportunity to say goodbye to the fans and wave and walk off on his own into the sunset. He absolutely deserves that. Ronaldo put Portugal on the map for many, many years.
These stars are crooked.
No, they're not. They look fine to me.
Go ahead, Chris. Finish your thought.
They're not crooked, but they're not even.
Who cares?
They're starting to come together.
They're,
Finish your thought.
you do. That's my peeling him off the wall, and I keep losing my thought.
Is that better, Dave? Ooh.
My boy Glenn Gomes says, what about Rui Jorge now in Lage at the youth? Forget about Rui Jorge.
If Rui Jorge was on the table, I think he would have been there.
Manny Villadon fixed the stars. There it is.
Fix the stars, bro.
You aligned them. You see?
Good job, Manny.
Manny straightened them out for you, bro. Everybody's worried about the stars.
You and your cousin are on fire today.
Who's his cousin?
Nick.
Oh, they're cousins.
Yeah.
How do you know?
I don't know. They're. I'm just. It's already been established that they're not related. But
I think we talked about that.
Coincidence. First of all, Villadão is a very uncommon Portuguese name.
It's like Fumaça,
It's
bro.
like Fumaças, yeah, right. But you have two Villadões on a chat.
There are
so
Nick Villadão and Manny Villadão.
Yeah,
they're definitely related.
I don't know.
Maybe it's Nick with his burner account.
It's burner
or Manny with his burner account. I don't know. One of them's got a burner account.
They got different profile pictures and everything. They
of course, if you're gonna do a burner account, you're gonna do it right.
Yeah, they got it right. Anyway, that's all we have for you.
That's it.
We'll be back. Wednesday next year. Next week. Yeah, because I'm not coming back until Tuesday.
Yeah, keep rubbing it in. Keep rubbing salt in.
Look, there's Nick Villadão.
Where?
There's
there he is.
So many Villadãos.
Yeah, but one's got a on top, and the other one's just got a.
It just means that one is using a Portuguese keyboard or a European keyboard, and the other one is using a U.S. keyboard.
Very common in Terceira. But look, they're
very common in Terceira. Yeah, that's true.
Look,
there's a whole slew of Villadãos in Ilha Terceira.
You know who else? You know who else is common in Terceira? Sporting. In terceiro lugar. They're common
but
too.
They're not in terceiro lugar.
Not now, but they're common over the years.
Well, vamos embora aqui.
I like to see Lage back at Benfica 10 years down the road.
Perhaps.
Vamos ver, pá.
Perhaps.
Does it ever work though? The
Dave,
second time around.
But Dave, here's the thing, right? There's a lot of factors around Lage that were a bit of his downfall, right? First of all, it didn't have the president only liked to go look at the ocean with him. Was it with him or Vitória? That we went for a walk and we looked at the ocean.
He saw the ocean. He saw the light. He lit the light. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think that anything that happened under Luis Felipe Vieira's reign and
why are we still talking about it?
I don't know. Let's go.
Listen, but want to thank you all once again for taking the time out and checking us out. Go to YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.
Always forget that.
Go to mine too, 10CO10. Dave, you got yours? Hit the subscribe.
Even though there's no content there.
There is.
What content?
From like 6 years ago. But there is. I have a Tyler Adams interview. His last year with the Red Bulls. I have Aaron Long, who's no longer with the Red Bulls. So there is some. I have some video. I got like 1 million views, and one video's got like 700,000 views. So that means the rest of the shit is garbage.
Why don't next thing you're gonna tell me you had an interview with?
I did with Sven Goran Eriksson. Pacheco. By the way, I was with Pacheco. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I don't even remember. Yeah, yesterday, Sunday. Yeah, it was yesterday, right?
Yesterday. Yep, let's go. Let's get out of here. It's late. See
Yeah,
everybody. Have a good week.
Thanks, guys.
Varzin tomorrow. Sporting on Sunday. Right, Dave? Is it Sunday or Saturday?
Oh, look.
It's
Nick
Sunday.
Villadon says, keep posting on Reddit, Chris. It seems
Chris,
to
you post
get
on
good
Reddit?
I post everywhere, bro. I mean, you know where I post the most? On my OnlyFans page. No, I'm joking. I got no subscribers there. 0. Hit the like button, guys. Subscribe.
Take care, everyone. Enjoy yourselves. Have a good week. Força Benfica.